Welcome back. This is the React. This is the step-by-step walkthrough of the integration with other libraries, React Advanced Guide. I'm going through, this is the first time I'm going through this, so I'll be walking through, I'm going to walk through each and every line. I'm learning React, so this is part of that effort. So integrating with other libraries, they're saying that React can be used in any web application. So it can be embedded in other applications, and with a little care, other applications can be embedded in React. So in this case, we are going to use other libraries. So it looks like we will be integrating other applications. We will be embedding other applications in React. So this guide will examine some of the more common use cases, focusing on integration with jQuery and Backbone, but other ideas can be applied to integrating components with any existing code. So basically this code, we will go through a jQuery, integrating a jQuery library or a Backbone library into React. So integrating with DOM manipulation plugins. React is unaware of changes made to DOM outside of React. It determines updates on its own internal representation, and if the same DOM nodes are manipulated by other libraries, confused and has no way to recover. Basically, what they're saying is React is unaware of changes made out to the DOM outside of React. So it makes the updates based on its own internal representation. So if something else manipulates a DOM node, React gets confused. There is no way for it to recover from it, is what they're saying. This does not mean it's impossible or even necessary to combine React with other ways of affecting the DOM. You just have to be mindful of what each are doing. So they're saying, I think this doesn't mean we can't do it. We just have to be mindful of what React is doing and what whatever is manipulating, whatever external library is manipulating the DOM. So the easiest way to avoid conflicts is to prevent the React component from updating. You can do this by rendering element. The easiest way to avoid conflicts is to prevent the React component from updating. You can do this by rendering elements that React has no reason to update, like an empty div. So they're saying that to prevent React from getting confused when a DOM node is updated by something like an external library like jQuery, they're saying that we create a empty DOM node like a empty div, and just give it to the external library, and the external library can do whatever it wants with it. So how to approach the problem? So to demonstrate this, let's sketch out a wrapper for a generic jQuery plugin. We will attach a ref to the root DOM element. Inside component did mount, we will get a reference to it, so we can pass it to the jQuery plugin. So to prevent React from touching the DOM after mounting, we will return an empty div from the render method. The div element has no properties or children, so React has no reason to update it, leaving the jQuery plugin free to manage that part of the DOM. So what they're saying is, to demonstrate this, let's sketch out a wrapper for a generic jQuery plugin. So we'll be doing this for a generic jQuery plugin. So we will attach a ref to the root DOM element inside component did mount. We will get a reference to it, so we can pass it to the jQuery plugin. So looks like we will get a ref to the root DOM element and pass it to the jQuery plugin, and the jQuery plugin can do anything it wants to this particular DOM node. So to prevent React from touching the DOM node after mounting, we will return an empty div from the render method. So we have to return an empty div in the render method, but I don't know if this is considered empty. So the div element has no properties or children. So React has no reason to update it, leaving the jQuery plugin free to manage that part of the DOM. Okay. Basically, we hand over an empty div to jQuery plugin, and it can do whatever it wants to. In the component, this is a wrapper. This is a wrapper for the plugin. So we are creating a React component, which is nothing but a wrapper for the plugin. And in the component did mount, we are I'm not familiar with this syntax, but this $el and this dot. We are getting this from ref. But I don't know what the purpose of dollar is and dollar here. So anyway, let's read some more. Note that we define both component did mount and component will unmount lifecycle hooks. We have component did mount, component will unmount. Lifecycle hooks. Many jQuery plugins attach event listeners to the DOM. So it's important to detach them in component will unmount. Note that we define both component did mount and component will unmount lifecycle hooks. Many jQuery plugins attach event listeners to the DOM, so it's important to detach them in component will unmount. Okay. So it looks like something like this will destroy, will do the cleanup work, and something like this will attach event listeners to the DOM. So if the plugin does not provide a method for cleanup, you will probably have to provide your own, remembering to remove any event listeners, the plugin registered to prevent memory leaks. If the plugin doesn't provide a way for us to clean up, so then we'll have to write the cleanup code in component will unmount ourselves. So integrating with jQuery chosen plugin. For a concrete example of this concept, let's write a minimal wrapper for the plugin chosen. So chosen, the chosen plugin, has some nice things. I think if you see, this one is a humongous drop-down list. Looks like it beautifies it. Yeah, it provides us a nice drop-down list instead of that ugly one. It looks like this one also has a search. I can search also. It's good. So for a more concrete example of this concept, let's write a minimal wrapper for the plugin chosen. Okay. So they're saying, I think here, just because we can do this, they're saying do not just because we can do it, don't do it. They're saying if there is a React component that will do the same functionality, they're saying use a React component instead. So use a third-party library only if there is no equivalent React component. Or if you can develop something easily, then you just develop it, I guess. Let's first look at what Chosen does. If you call it on select DOM, it reads the attributes of the original DOM node, hides it with an inline style, and then appends a separate DOM. Okay, first let's look at what Chosen does to the DOM. If you call it on a select DOM, it reads the attributes of the original DOM. So let's say that this is the API we are striving for in our Chosen wrapper component. So they're saying, okay, this is the API we are striving for in our wrapper component. We will implement it as an uncontrolled component for simplicity. So this Chosen is being implemented here. If you see how it's implemented, basically a ref to the select element itself is being sent out. Notice that how we wrapped select in an extra div. This is necessary because Chosen will append another DOM element right after the select node we pass to it. However, as far as React is concerned, div has a single child. This is how we ensure that React updates won't conflict with the extra DOM node appended by Chosen. It is important that if you modify the DOM outside of React Flow, you must ensure React doesn't have a reason to touch those DOM nodes. Next, we will implement the lifecycle hooks. We need to initialize Chosen with the ref to the select node in component did mount and tear it down in component will unmount. Okay. Try it in CodePen. Let's see if I can open CodePen. Okay, so a React wrapper class has been defined. Where did we import the? We have only one root. Where are the imports settings? Change view, fork settings, login. I wonder where do the libraries go? Assets. I'm trying to see how does it know that this is a React JS Babel. Oh, there is settings here. Okay. Show me that okay, these are all the libraries that are used, a jQuery min and then a chosen jQuery min also. Okay. Note that React assigns no special meaning to the this.el field. So that's saying React doesn't assign any special meaning to the this.el field. It only works because we have previously assigned this field from a ref in the render method. Okay. So this is enough to get our component to render, but we also want to be notified about the value changes. To do this, we will subscribe to jQuery change event on the select managed chosen. So that's saying we won't pass this.props.change directly to the chosen because components props might change over time. And that includes event handlers. Instead, we will declare a handle change method that calls this.props.onChange and subscribe it to the jQuery change event. This dollar is a jQuery syntax. Even this dollar. So whenever it changes props.onChange, whenever a property changes, what are we doing? Oh, so actually, whenever there is a change on the property, we're saying, hey, call the handle change. And the handle change, the event comes. And then this .props.onChange. Do not understand this fully. Basically, as soon as the element mounts, we are saying that the handle change event handler will handle the change events, and that in turn is turning around and saying it's saying that It's calling the onChange event with the value that's passed. What is the use of it? I don't know. But anyway, so I don't know what's the purpose of this. Finally, there is one more thing to do. In React, props can change over time. For example, the chosen component can get different children if parent component state changes. This means that at integration points, it is important that we manually update the DOM in response to prop updates, since we no longer let React manage the DOM for us. Documentation suggests that we can use jQuery trigger. API to notify about changes to the original DOM. We will let React take care of updating this.props.children inside select. But we will also add a component did update lifecycle hook. That notifies chosen about changes in the children's list. So basically, we have to call this lifecycle method also to inform the children that something got updated. This way, chosen will know to update its DOM event when the select children managed by React change. The complete implementation of chosen component looks like this. Class chosen extends React.component. Okay. So basically, they added the component did update. So integrating with other Vue libraries, React can be embedded into other applications thanks to flexibility of React DOM.render. Although React is commonly used at startup to load a single root React component into the DOM, React DOM.render can also be called multiple times for independent parts of the UI, which can be as small as a button or as large as an app. In fact, this is exactly how React is used at Facebook. This lets us write applications in React piece by piece and combine it with our existing server-generated templates and other client-side code. Replacing string-based rendering with React. So they're showing how a React component can be used outside of React. You're saying we can rewrite it as a React component like this. From here, you could start moving more logic into the component and begin adopting more common React practices. For example, in components, it is best not to rely on IDs because the same component can be rendered multiple times. Instead, we will use the React event system and register the click handler directly on the React button. Button on click, say hello, alert, hello, okay. Embedding React in Backbone View. They're showing a way to embed React in Backbone View. I'm not going to use it, so I'll just bypass that. Integrating with model layers. I'm not going to use this either. So using backbone models in React. I will skip it because I don't know enough about it. So I'll make a fool of myself if I try to explain this. Extracting data from backbone models. I think that's it. I don't think there is anything else left. I'm sure I need to go through this quick start once more. But at a high level, you can integrate with the third-party libraries. Ideally, you should just give the third-party library a div, and the third-party library can manipulate that div, or in this case, a DOM node. And React will not be writing to that node at all. Only the external library will be writing to it. At a high level, that's what it is. So I will in the next video, I will try to actually start coding a simple app and see where I can take it